You did not
I'm
come
gonna
up
keep it a
there to
bean.
say, you came up there to try to make it seem like I didn't have no right to say what I said by saying name three of the victims. I don't have to, and just like Mimi said, I don't have to know any of those people. But
That's
what I do know,
that's observant started yelling. Stuff he don't
Hold up,
even
hold up,
like.
hold up,
You know what I'm
why
hold
saying?
up, hold
wouldn't
up,
he?
hold
You're
up.
coming up into a panel full of women and femme presenting people, and as the only black man on
And I'm
that
gonna tell you
panel,
why.
he did exactly what he should have done.
Because I don't feel like the survivors were safe in that space.
As
I
as
wait,
one, and
hold
as
on.
one, and as one, I was just fine. The question wasn't asked. It wasn't asked if I felt okay. So listen, I asked you a question when you started to say, in order to be combative to observant, you asked him to name three victims. That is utterly disgusting. What I told you
No.
was, no, what
What
I
I was
told
doing
you,
was demonstrating that niggas are
what you
centering
were doing
themselves
was
Let me
around
me
the
using
finish.
shit
the
that they not getting
Hold
harmed.
up. Let me finish. Let me
what you
finish.
were doing was using the victims to could be combative to him. Literally. No, yes, because what you did was you repeatedly asked him to name three victims when three victims were actually on the fucking panel. But that's beside the point. That's beside the point. You don't get to use the victims for your fight. You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. It's not fair. And like I said on that panel, you have no clue what we were doing in that live. We were on there for hours. You have no clue who any of those people, if any of those people have actually been assaulted in any way, shape, or form. So to say something like that is disgusting. If you supposed to be a stand-up motherfucker trying to make sure you holding people accountable, how do you come up there and say something like that? It was wrong, Solid. Then you said that they weren't a part of the movement. How the hell are you talking to black people about not being a part of a movement when the fact is we were having a conversation about the man that did everyone harm? What are you talking about? It is necessary to have these conversations. Were we supposed to be quiet after the live? Were we not supposed to express ourselves? And from what I'm being told after all of this fucking time, because y'all know I don't know shit about what happened back in 2020, 2021. These motherfuckers, Queen, Wawa, Observer, all the been clocked this motherfucker. Been stopped fucking with him. The hell if I didn't know.
And clock the fact that y'all didn't listen to us because you've already considered me to be somebody who's in drama because you don't like the way that I talk.
You talking about
And,
tough?
and, then, and
Well,
then you said
And
that we wanted.
anything that has been said was dismissed because that
Listen,
was the response. Oh, they just do drama. Don't listen to them. The same
l- l-
response that you gave to the people in the live today is the same response that you have followed up with previously in other spaces. And sorry to cut you off, Mimi, but today I
that's
felt
fine.
like what Mimi said, that's what you were trying to do. And I don't feel as though you came up into that live to protect your friends or mutuals. I feel like you came up to that live to campaign against me and Wawa because you didn't know the full context of the live and you didn't take into consideration that these are adults that know full well that they're in a panel with people that they probably haven't really met before, but they chose to come up there because the host was recapping Jones's live and talking about his behavior and how he did not take accountability in how he behaved. And they chose to come up and speak on their feelings on that live as well. And then another situation happened that needed to be hashed out. People had conversations that they were trying to get to. And not only did you come up and interrupt, but you came up and interrupted a conversation that was supposed to take place between Mimi and Coco.
So what I want to know is, do you understand what I'm even saying to you? Why
Yeah, I
it made me
understand what you're
very
saying.
upset that you did that.
I understand what you're saying. You're saying that I was using the victims and their trauma to just to prove a point.
Not to prove a point, just to fight, because I don't know what your point
Nah,
is.
I was
I,
proving. Okay.
well, you're telling me that you're proving a point. I'm saying you up there because Observant said, shut the fuck up, or whatever the fuck he said, you now name 3 victims. Why is that necessary? Why?
Maybe you don't see why
Go ahead.
centering the survivors is important.
I understand why centering myself is important. I can appreciate that question. It's weird. It's weird. Are you under the impression that none of the people that were in that panel have actually made their business to visit those other survivors, go into their lives, tap the screen, share the live, gift the host, and make sure they're heard? Is that what you're saying?
No,
Because I know
I'm
for a
saying
fact
that
it's happening. I see them in the comments.
where there's drama talk, it's not say that that's not gonna center the
Why do you
survivor.
keep calling it that when we have already established
That's
that
what it
any
is.
okay, but who are you to try to decide that
Mimi,
it is drama? What are you referring to?
Mimi, have
Real.
you ever been on Messy Talk, Mimi?
Yes.
But messy talk, when we're saying messy talk,
Hold
we're
on.
talking
Hold on.
about
Wait, hold
I'm
on, hold
sorry.
on. Let him ask me this question.
Wait.
Yes, I've
Because
been on. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sean, baby. Go ahead, honey.
there was a lot that was happening. I don't think some things that were asked were answered,
Okay.
and there was just extra, like, more other dialogue. And I
Okay.
do want to make sure everyone feels heard. I'm sorry for interrupting you again, Queen. I really am. I just want to make sure your question gets answered because it wasn't answered. Solid. Why did you feel the need to go up on the live? This is what Queen was asking you. Why did you feel the need to go up on the live? And I have other questions for you. And say that what you said, that you don't trust Queen and all of that, instead of if you wanted to center the survivors, essentially, why didn't you just do that instead of say something about Queen?
It was an indirect communication with Peach.
Okay. Can you say what the indirect communication was? Communication was.
communicate with your mutual that you didn't feel like they should have been in that live. You still have not illustrated to me what drama are you referring to that made you feel as though that wasn't a safe space for your mutuals,
Say it again.
or an adequate space for
I
them
should have
to.
just listen. I heard my
I
name.
think.
I joined. I should have just texted Peach and got
I'm
him.
not really concerned about what you could have done because that's not really my business, but I'm asking directly, what drama made you feel as though that was not an adequate space?
The potential for drama, the potential for mess, the fact that I go on YouTube, I can go on YouTube at work and watch a recap of all kind of misinformation about everything that's happened. Uh, some of the stuff is just like literally made up about you know what I'm saying, like about the situation, about the survivors. It's like,
Can I have some
and then
examples, please? Because I don't feel as though myself or anybody that was on that panel has done that.
all right, give me a hot second. Let me go to YouTube.
Sean,
What's up?
I'm sorry. I'm not. This is not all right. To keep calling what happened in that live today drama
I
is
did.
extremely. To say that the people on the live or they do drama, or that it'll be on YouTube, that was already addressed. Queen already said motherfuckers be recording. It is what it is. It's extremely dismissive, catty, and wildly disrespectful to the people that were having a conversation on that live about what they went through. Why is it that when Black women and Black femme people were on that live actually having the conversations that our Black asses should have had a year ago, why is that now drama? Why is it that we
You, Mimi, because that's what I'm trying to figure out, Mimi, because at the
should
end of the
we
day,
have, wait, are you saying that we should have done that in the back end, right?
So you wait, hold on. So here's
No.
the scenario. Peach is up there. Peach is friends with Banana.
mm-hmm.
I am friends with Banana and Peach. The Peach cares about Banana. Peach cares about me. You all, Banana is hurt directly by you, Queen.
Okay, and how?
All right. I, it's
I
not.
It is your place to
No,
say
it's up
because
for.
you accuse
It's them,
me of
right? But
hurting you. No,
they
because you
cite
accuse
to
me of
me.
hurting them. But
They
hold
cite to
on.
me.
And if and hold on though, if you are going to bring a conversation that you had with someone to the forefront as an accusation, it's only fair that you tell me what the accusation is. How did I personally hurt Banana?
You would have to ask Banana. But
You,
Banana
I'm
brought it
asking you
to
because
me.
you said it multiple times
Banana
in the
brought it to
comments
me.
in capital letters.
Okay. Can I ask you if you have any issue with Banana?
Absolutely, I do. Let me go ahead and start from the top.
you
I
know
have an issue with the fact that Banana has inserted themselves in multiple Black spaces. I have an issue that Banana has engaged in anti-Blackness and sent Black people to fight their battles. I have an issue with the fact that Athena was in Bratz's live having to answer for Banana's calling a Black woman a gremlin. I have a problem with Queen V having to answer for Banana calling a Black woman a gremlin. I have a problem with the fact that Peach says that they had no idea that Banana was starting this campaign against Phoenix without Peach's knowledge. I have a problem with the fact that I had a conversation with Mimi, who was right here in the box, about Banana's anti-blackness, and we were not unable to come to an agreement, but we are able to come to an agreement today. We had so many issues. I have an issue with the fact that Banana got up in a live and showed personal messages between her and Liv after just holding Liv accountable for not speaking up for anti-indigeneity. But when it comes to anti-blackness, Banana doesn't want to say anything about that. I have a problem with the fact that Banana had no fucking business dragging Liv, no matter what the fuck he did, and they had no business showing no personal text messages to engage in that fucking dragging. They had absolutely no business in blocking Black women out of Liv's space, calling them dangerous and harmful. Because when a Black conversation is happening, non-Black mods do not have no fucking authority to kick Black people out of a conversation about them. So explain to me, where did I hurt Banana? By calling them anti-Black or what?
I asked a question about the victims and the answer was banana. I'm trying to get a better understanding.
Because that
I
was
will
all it
answer.
was.
I will. No, he's trying to demonstrate what it was that was the harm. He's trying to answer both questions at the same time.
And
But
I wish that the question would be answered directly because you brought this to the forefront. So if you're trying to protect Banana from the conversation that you guys have had in private, then that ship has sailed because you made an accusation on the fact that Banana was harmed. And part of the reason why you felt as though that space was not adequate for your mutuals is because of your other friend. So you are going to need to tell me specifically because you named harmed. Their feelings are hurt.
Sure.
No, not sure. I'm asking directly. What
I
other
mean,
harm?
yeah, their feelings absolutely have been hurt.
Is that the harm though?
They were dealing with SI.
I'm
They
sorry, I don't know what that is.
That is.
Um,
they felt like the app was not safe for them to walk around for several reasons, not just you. But the fact of the matter is that is how Banana feels. Peach does care about Banana. It puts Peach in a precarious situation to be on the panel with someone that Banana has
so you okay, so
a
you
very
think
severe
so
problem.
let me ask you this direct question. Were you when you saw that live, were you under the impression that Peach did not know that there were people up there who had an issue with Banana?
Say it again.
When you saw Peach in our live today, were you under the impression that Peach is unaware that there were people up there that have an issue with bananas?
Um, no, because Peach was aware.
Okay. So why would you make the statement just now that Peach cares about banana and Peach is consorting with people who don't like banana? Because
Uh,
Peach is very aware of all of the reasons why I do not like banana and all of the
they were
anti-blackness that
actually on their way out of the live.
I think
okay.
he's. I
We're not being clear at this point. And
um,
because if I come into a live and I say, you hurt Mimi, but then I don't want to tell you why. This is the basis of your argument. So if you're saying that you came in hot based off of something that happened to Banana, I asked you several direct questions, and I don't know how else to ask it to try to have some respect for the fact that it seems as though you don't want to talk about it. So the
I
direct
mean, it's
question
super
is,
easy.
what is Banana hurt
It's
by? Their
super easy. I
feelings?
don't think you are safe for my friends. Like it's that easy. It's that
But you
simple.
haven't explained what drama you and me and Mimi both
Our
have asked you
stuff,
that same
you and
question.
Banana stuff.
Our stuff was never drama. It will never be drama for people orchestrating a lie against me. It will never be drama for you saying that it was drama for me to call
You
out a
just
transphobe. It
classified
will
it as
never. It
orchestrating a lie again.
okay
I
when two
wasn't
when one
involved
when
in
people say that
orchestrating
they saw
any
you do
lie
something that you
against
did
you.
not do.
I wasn't
eh,
involved in orchestrating any lie against you.
Okay, that's what you say, but I'm still saying the fact that you did, and it doesn't matter if we
I
agree or
did
not.
not.
But there's still
I
no
did
drama
not.
there. Where is there drama when people have a direct
I
issue?
did not orchestrate
Okay,
any lie
okay, and
against
that okay, but
you. I
okay,
didn't do that.
how is it drama
I confided in
for?
my homeboy. My homeboy took it upon himself to do some shit. You know what
And
I'm saying?
that's already been said, but you haven't
And
answered the question
even in
directly.
that situation, I spoke on what I knew to be true. And if the claim against you was that you interrupted somebody talking about the essay, and I'm saying that you did not, then I am helping you in your truth.
Okay, so
That means I am
how
being
would
as
but what
honest as
other
I can
drama?
in this situation.
Okay, so you named our situation.
I
That's
have
not drama. It
very
was an
bad
issue.
experiences with it, especially when it comes to language like that, where it's like orchestrating a lie. These very
Oh
condemning,
God.
these very like absolute condemning
You know that
types of
just because a
phrases, right?
person doesn't agree with what they did to you doesn't mean that I'm actively harming you by telling my truth about what happened. You say that it did not happen, but just because you disagree with it happening doesn't mean that I am purposefully
Right.
using language that is going to disparage you. I am literally
Well, see,
telling
but I don't
how it
believe that.
happened for me. You don't have to believe it. And as someone
Right.
who talks about victims and as someone who holds space for
Right.
people, you are literally doing
Right. So
what a person would
if I'm
normally
saying that
do.
you've caused harm to me and we believe victims, then what are we doing?
Caused harm to you, how though? You haven't illustrated me causing harm to you other than the fact.
By not telling the actual
So you think
by
that
selling what
somebody who
happened
does
in a
something to somebody is
salacious
gonna admit
way,
that they
by
did it?
vilifying me, by not being
I think
truthful
that
in your
hold,
representation about me. Period. Like
I think because I want to answer Mimi's question as well, but because it was asked to me, but I think what a lot of what's happening right now is that like harm, uh, like when people are using harm, the word harm, like, oh, you harmed me, or you harmed this person, or whatever else, this did harm to me, whatever. I think that it's being looked at in this moment as an indictment. And I honestly do think that both y'all are doing it. And I don't want y'all to do that because I don't think that that's what either one of y'all mean. I don't think, Queen, you mean, oh, Solid, you're a terrible person because you did harm to me by being around these people who said these things about me. And Solid, I don't think that you mean that Queen is a terrible person and a absolutely horrible human being because the people who and this goes a part of my answer, and I'll clarify it in a second. The people who like record these lives that people be in, or the people who even host these lives sometimes that like some people be in, just call it drama or messy or tea or whatever else it may be. I don't think it's like I don't think it's meant to be like malicious. I just think it's like, hey, I'm trying like this is what you said, this is what happened, this is what I remember, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not an indictment.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I don't think so, Sean, because that has been said. And our
What
questions have not been answered.
you what
When you are telling someone, I don't think you should be in this live because these people are all about drama. That still has not been answered. So the one part of the conversation has been answered when
okay.
it said, okay, you actively harmed my friend, Banana. And I'm still waiting on how did I create an issue for Banana, because
I,
calling out someone for being anti-black and them getting their feelings hurt about it is not harm. So if there's nothing else other than
Calling for a
that,
white woman, things like that. Like, I mean, come on. Like, what are we doing?
okay, so I can address that,
What are
because
we
when I
doing?
first met Banana on this app, that's exactly how they identified. I said that Banana was not black because they are not, and they don't have no business dragging black people, regardless of if those black people committed anti-indigeneity, because there is a way to approach black people for things that they do outside of the community without disparaging them as black people. So when you're calling out a black woman, maybe we should refrain from calling them gremlins. Maybe we should refrain from posting pictures of them in the background and commenting on their hair and skin and features. That is not a way that a non-black person or a black person should be calling out black people. And I see this a lot with Banana. And I have an issue with the black people that give latitude to Banana to act this way. And they do exactly what you're doing right here.
Because
Running
that's not
to
what actually
running
happened either.
running to black people,
Somebody called Phoenix a gremlin on their panel
not
while they
somebody,
were away.
Banana.
Wait,
Banana
And,
said it out of their
no,
own
no, no, no.
mouth.
Wait, hold on, Queen. Hold
hold
on.
on, hold on.
Solid. No, no, no. Banana said it. I said, huh. Then when someone said, oh no, Phoenix is black, they might be biracial or something, I was like, oh, okay, Banana, you're gonna have to sit in that. Banana literally said it. Don't do that. And if I got to get up and turn on my goddamn computer to see if I have that live, I will. Like, come on.
no,
And
I'll
that's
just
what I,
take
and
your
that's what
word
and
for it.
that's what
I'll
I
just
and
take
that's
your
what I
word for it. I was
and but
I was
that's
told
but
something
why
different.
couldn't
I
but
was
why
told
couldn't you
something
take
different
my word for it when I told you that Queen V and Athena
because I
came
have
to
negative
Brax's?
experiences with you.
I
Okay,
think
but the negative
You
experiences
you
that you
had
have
negative
with me
experience,
is
and
me
I trust
trying
my
to hold you
friends
accountable.
more than I
Okay,
hold,
trust
hold
and
you.
on,
that's
hold
the
on.
fucking
The over talking.
problem.
We can't do the
And
over
that
talking,
is
yo.
the problem.
Can
The
I can
problem,
I
It's not.
say
and
It's not
this,
a
something?
but
problem.
this
People
Hold on,
just
circles.
hold
go to
on, hold on.
jail.
We
It's
gotta
just
let
just going
we
to
gotta
jail.
let
Like that's the
everybody who's
deal around
talking
here.
finish.
I have negative
We gotta.
experiences with you. You got negative experiences with me. We could dead that whole thing. Like it's
Okay,
not a problem. Like, and
okay,
that's
but
what I'm
based off of the
saying.
negative experiences that you have, there were multiple people that was calling Banana out for that particular incident. As just stated in this conversation, that Brats held alive to call Banana to the forefront for those comments, and the only people who showed up were Black women. And I named Athena and I named Queen V, and I do not feel as though they needed to take accountability for what Banana said. Those things that happen, for you to say, I believe my friend, that is what's harmful to the community. And that circles all the way back around to the conversation we had with Cindy Lou Who, when you took what they were doing with more stride and took what me and Wawa were trying to address you about with a grain of salt, because you already had a preconceived issue with us. Even if you had a preconceived issue with me, did you do any of your own research to find out if what we were saying was true?
You mean in regard to my own situation? I mean, because I
No,
live
in
my own
regard to the
situation
banana
with the man
situation,
talking.
you said I believed my
No,
friend because I had a negative experience with you. So you
no,
did not do
no.
your own. Okay.
Why?
So when it comes to people talking about an entire community being disparaged, do you think that going forward, it would be good practice to gather your own evidence, regardless if it's coming from a trusted friend or not? Because if that trusted friend is not Black and being accused of disparaging the Black community, do
It
you
was
think that it
echoed by. Okay, I
do
got you.
you think that it would be in good practice to try to gather your own information, because you would be the closest person to hold Banana accountable if you two are have
Oh,
a trusted mutual self?
that is true. I'm sorry. Banana does go by they them. I'm sorry. They
Oh,
do go by they
I
them.
thought I said they. I'm sorry if I didn't. If I said she, I do apologize. I do know Banana's pronouns, so I apologize for that. So do you think that even if you had a negative experience with me, I was not the only one calling Banana to the forefront for anti-Blackness, and it could not have been the first and only time that you have heard about Banana being anti-Black?
Who else was? You said Athena and
No, what? No, no, I
I
didn't.
think I
No,
I
no,
think
goddamn, I did not.
Okay.
I think that someone did say Athena, but let's don't worry about that at the moment. The
Yes, I said Athena, but I
I
did not
think
say that Athena accused Banana of being anti-Black. What I said was, um, that I did not feel like it was right for Athena and Queen Bee and other Black women, such as Mimi, to have to be in the forefront for those infractions because Alive was held and Athena and Queen Bee came into the box to answer for her. And Mimi also was put in a position, I'm sorry for them, I do apologize, to answer for them as well. And that, and if you see me yelling at Banana, yeah, I have had conversations with Banana about their anti-blackness, and I have asked Banana, did they recognize that their reaction was the same reaction that we get from other people who are anti-black, more particularly white people who feel as though like you're harming me, and you're giving me that as the example by saying that I harmed them. Why? Because their feelings were hurt for being called out. What would you say
No,
if
no,
Banana?
no. They did say, hold on, real quick, Queen. He did say that because if you call banana white, that's anti-indigenous, and
I
that's
did, but I
like that.
didn't. I did not call them white. I asked Banana if I asked them in a conversation on another panel, I asked them if they were not indigenous and this conversation was being had with a white person, did they feel as though their reaction was parallel or similar? Because what Solid is saying right now, that they feel harmed and they don't feel safe coming back to the app, that's exactly what white people do. Oh, you guys are attacking me, you guys are bullying me, when we're trying to hold you accountable for some anti-black or racist shit that you did. They don't get to do
I
that.
think. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I think because a lot of this is getting confused because it did sound earlier like you did say, yeah, you did call her white, and that's because or sorry, you did call them white, and that's because they identified as white when you first met them.
Said was I have. Yes, I have, because Banana and I had not seen each other since I held my own platform. And there was a moment where people were holding me accountable for calling them white because of the fact that the last time that I spoke to them,
Okay.
they had not started on their indigenous journey. Yes, I have called them white before.
Okay, I think what is happening is a bit of a miscommunication because I think Solid's trying to just answer your question and say that a lot of what you're asking is why would he call what you're talking about drama and what you're doing drama? And he said because of the past experiences, and I think those past experiences are just things that are like misunderstandings. But I will say, if we're going to keep bringing up the white lady, I can't remember her name, but if we're going to keep
Cindy
bringing up
Lou
the white
Who.
lady, Cindy
Christy
Lou,
Lou.
we
Christy, sorry.
gotta that conversation needs to be had because that was kind of like stopped. But I do want to, because Mimi's been waiting a long time, and I do want to answer what Mimi had asked.
It's not at this point. At this point, I'm not gonna hold you, sis. It's not a question anymore. I'm gonna say this because I know that I'm pretty sure there are people in the request, and this has got to get hashed out. I guess. I'm gonna say this. I can appreciate that you understand why I said what I said to you in that live, and when I asked you earlier, that you understand that you, using the victims, asking if anyone knows about the victims' names or anything to be combative is wrong. It's wrong to say that we are not there for liberation and all that other kind of all that crap that you said up there was foul. Now that I know that you came up there feeling a way because you know that folks feel a way about Banana, you could have just came up in the live and said, keep Banana name out your fucking mouth. You didn't have to come in there talk about victims and all of this other kind of thing because Observant said fuck you. Like I don't see why that was necessary to do. Also, before I go, look here, bruh. Infantilizing us like we don't have the capacity to have a conversation on the live with people that are directly affected by Jones, because it was just me, it was Coco, it was Peach, it was Phoenix, it was all of us up there having a conversation about what happened with us, the lies that were told, and this, that, and the third. Like we're not in a good, safe space when we were up there doing just fine. Even everybody took turns to cuss the Black historian dumbass out. We were doing just fine. To say that we were not in a safe space, or maybe you're not talking about me. Maybe not talking about Phoenix or you were only talking about Peach. Okay, great. There's only some black people
No,
that
no,
you
no, no, no. I'm saying
fine. No,
the
I can
only people
appreciate
who
that.
I felt weren't safe were Queen and Wawa.
No,
Answer the question as to why.
in the space, not not people that you don't think are safe. I'm saying if you thought that we weren't safe in that space, I think it's really infantilizing and it's not cool because we all grown up in there. We were having a very good conversation. People were sharing information, learning more about what had happened and why things were transpiring. We were up there doing, like I said earlier, exactly what we should have did a fucking year ago. Honestly. And I don't know what this is all about, why we have to get pushed to the side or oh, y'all shouldn't even be here. This is drama. It's not drama. It's what black women needed to
You
fucking
keep
do. It's
saying
what
we,
black men
meaning I
needed to
wasn't talking
do.
about you.
You called the space drama. You said that we were in the midst of drama, that people are recording.
All right, well,
We
can I
all
correct
are
myself?
very aware, Solid. We are all very aware that people record on YouTube, bro. We know that it doesn't matter. The conversation still needs to be had. And I don't need to have it in private. I need to have it in public. Things were said to people or each other. It needs to be done in public. When people did wrong, they got to say it out loud. Black women have a habit of doing these things. When we see shit, we see fucked up shit. When we self-reflect, oh, okay, all right, you know what, fuck it. Let's have a conversation. Why is that so wrong? All I'm saying is, okay, I get you want to be protective and all. It would have been much nicer if you would have asked us if we felt unsafe. I guarantee you no one would have said, no, we're fine. But if you only came up there because people have a problem with Banana, you should have just came and said, fuck y'all for talking about Banana. Keep Banana name out your motherfucker. You could have just did that. You didn't have to start talking about the victims. I mean, that's not right. It's just not right. You could have just came in on what you wanted to really talk about. If you got a problem with Queen and Wawa and them, you could have came up there and had a problem with Queen and Wawa and them. You didn't need to do that.
Rounds though. I'm still waiting for that answer.
I'm not understanding the weird, confused face because you came up
Because that's why I came up there, because I had a problem with Queen and
and
Wawa.
you talked about victims first. There was no need for that. That wasn't the main purpose. Clearly, there's beef, bro.
Wait, hold up.
Clearly now you're
Wait.
mad because Banana's involved.
He
Like,
didn't
what are we
hold.
doing?
I mean,
You know what?
I will.
I can't be gaslit. You got it. You know you got it, bro. You know you right. Fuck it. You right. You got it.
No. I'm just saying to you, real quick. He did come up. The first thing he said, because I don't want anybody to feel invalidated up here. Because Queen even said this earlier. The first thing he said was, "I don't trust Queen and Wawa." That was the first thing he said when he went up there.
Right. I
And
don't
that's-
trust
that's
Queen and Wawa.
part
Okay.
of-
All right. You know what?
And
Fine,
yeah,
my
and that was part
timeline
of what Queen
wrong.
was addressing up here.
I can appreciate that. That's my bad. I don't trust Queen and Wawa. Keep victims' name out your mouth. Name three victims. Name three victims. Name three victims. Unnecessary. If you have beef with Queen and Wawa, Observant and all them, and you want to talk about the fact that you don't like how they talk about Banana, you could have just did all that. You didn't have to do everything else. But all right, I got it. I think you got it. You heard me. You heard me? I heard you. Did you hear me? Because I heard you. Or unless there's anything else that you want to say to me. I'm talking to Solid now. Sean and Queen are on mute.
No.
Question on what grounds?
All right, then.
What do
Thank
you
you,
mean?
Sean.
Listen, Mimi,
What,
out of everybody that was talking, did you notice the one? Did you notice the one person I was listening?
You said that I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about.
I don't think he was talking to you.
Wait a minute. When I said,
Now, sis
when
say,
I said don't
sis
do
say
that,
I'm supposed
when
to
I
just
said
say,
don't
you know
do
what?
that,
If there's a
did
world where I
you
can
not
say that, then I
say
can
something?
just
And then everybody
hold
said
on,
he's
hold on,
not
hold on,
listening.
hold on,
Now?
hold on. listen. You think, I think, I think he wasn't talking to you when he said that, but you felt like he was talking.
He directly said it to
Who
me, and
were you?
everybody said he's not listening. I've
Who?
repeated myself
What?
several times. Run the live back. They'll just stay interested because I literally
Niece
like,
did. She did. You
bro.
weren't able to hear because there was arguing back and forth, but there was a period of
All right,
time where
Risky.
she stopped and everyone was quiet and she says, "Solid, you gotta stop with that. You don't know
Listen,
what other victims are up here." And then you kept going with your rhetoric on me and Wawa, and it was me who said
Oh,
he
wait.
ain't listening.
I do think I saw this part of it because I didn't see a lot of it. I will say to you, Mimi, you did say that was wrong and you told everybody to stop and everybody stopped. I do believe, though, Solid did say because he doesn't know. And he was talking about observant. I do believe that. I don't think he was talking to you.
Sean, I heard you.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna apologize. I said what you think I said, Mimi.
Well, I was there. I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, and I shouldn't have said what I said. So I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. I'm not sure if that's just to shut me up. That you know that's not how that work with me. I don't shut up.
No, but
But
it's like no, but what you experienced was me saying that.
well,
That
yeah.
is enough to warrant an apology.
Okay.
So I apologize.
I'm not.
Provide me the answer to my question, please.
Oh well,
Yeah,
damn.
yeah, like
All right. Well, all right then.
everything we've been through, every time we've interacted, Queen, it's been some sort of like struggle.
Why?
Why, Mimi? It's been some sort of struggle to try and find the truth between each other. I've never felt like you've represented my situations accurate to my experience. You
Grounds
are
for
a
you to
big
say
red
that
flag for me.
people are drama, that's grounds for you to say that there's drama and that
You
you
don't feel
feel
like
as though your
wait,
mutual
hold on.
shouldn't have been having conversations with us.
Queen, you don't spend no time on messy talk.
So what?
So
That matters in what
that
regard?
matters in a great regard because how do I know which is which? Do I know if my friends are in the middle of messy talk and don't know it? Have I been in messy talk without wanting to be there?
So we're on an app where people spectate. We're on an app where everyone has been involved in what could be considered to be drama by some spectator or people who don't understand the context of what they're seeing or hearing. There are people in the comments right now calling this drama. Are we going to take them seriously? Do you feel like
Yes.
you're doing drama right
Yes.
now?
This shit feels messy as fuck. And I
Oh,
do
it's
want
messy
to
to
yeah.
have a conversation now to hash things out.
Yeah, because if I want to be honest and I want to say what my truth is, but I am battling. I am walking a tightrope because I also have to stick to my principles, and my principles there's a conflict there for me because invalidating Black women is against my principles. But I also have experienced something vastly different than what you describe,
Okay,
right?
right. So
So
discussions that you
my principles are protect Black women, but everything that's going on here is counter to that, right?
okay.
Instead of
So
when
our conversations are drama to
the
the
simple
point where you
solution could have been one, to not even engage, to not have ever jumped up on the panel, right? To have left the whole thing alone, to not even have been a spectator. The simple solution now would be to disengage.
right, but you are aware that causing harm to somebody and choosing to disengage is not protecting your peace, it's avoidance.
Protecting my people. I think I'll decide what protecting my peace means.
Yeah, most people who don't want to be held accountable will
Let
typically
me tell you what
choose the
avoidance
protect. Oh,
avoidance
I'm
is.
so sorry. I
I'm sorry.
thought,
Go ahead.
yeah. So, in having a conversation with someone or doing something to someone and then deciding that you're going to protect your peace when they try to approach you is not protecting your peace, it's avoidance. So you have avoided the conversations, and I even admitted in the beginning of this live that we have not been able to have a conversation as the one that we've had today. Yes, there has always been a back and forth anytime we've encountered each other, but I'm still searching for the answer to my question. What does that have to do with the live that took place today? Because my direct issue with you doesn't have anything to do with anyone else. And my direct issue with you does not mean that I don't have anything to stand for.
Okay. If you're just stating your case, if you're just stating your case for what I'm not here to battle with you about that. I'm just simply telling you where my reaction came from.
I think we've gathered that already. We gathered that your reaction came from
Okay.
your experience
So
with
then
me. But what
so
does
then
your
your case is
experience with
valid.
me have
Your
to do with
experience
what
is
some
valid.
what
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
what does your direct experience with me have to do with the overall, with my overall person, with my overall ideals, with my overall stances? What does our direct issue have to do even with your overall stances? Have I ever gone into one of your lives and told people not to allow you to hold these topics and hold these debates because I don't like you?
Well, it's not about not liking. It's about what I think is going
I
on, right?
really, I don't want to do the semantics and the picking apart of language. I think you understand exactly what I mean when I say that.
Sure.
An
No, you've
issue,
never done that.
beef, problem. I don't,
You
all
you
the
got beef.
synonyms.
And I don't feel safe with my friends around you. Like that.
And again,
What's something wrong
I
with that?
heard and I heard that, but I think that you're purposefully misunderstanding my question because I am literally asking you in all the ways that I possibly can rephrase it. What does our personal issue have to do with you feeling as though I cannot have a conversation with someone else?
Exactly. So my fear is that what has happened to me might be transferred on to one of my friends.
Okay,
With the
so you
same
not
terrible experiences
recollecting.
I've had with you, my friends might also have terrible experiences with you.
Okay, so if we were having a conversation in the live today about who did what and who's a problem and who isn't, then I can understand if you say, you know what, I feel like, Queen and I have had some issues and I don't feel as though I have been represented correctly. So I'm afraid that they're going to misrepresent my friends. But we were not having a call out live. We were not having a messy live. So how does that correlate to your direct feelings when you claim that I'm doing revisionist history? But it also sucks because as a person who was on the other end of your issues and the way that you've spoken to me, revisionist history is usually what the perpetrator does. So it's hard for me to listen to you say, well, I've had a bad experience. A bad experience, why? Because I've called you names and yelled at you because of the way that you treated me?
No, because you lied about me.
I didn't lie though. We had the conversation. And just because I provide
I
more
think,
details than you do doesn't mean that I'm lying. So let's go through the
well,
bullet points. Jesus, go ahead.
some of the details were, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
I appreciate your interjection. I just wish that I could have finished before you moderate. But go ahead if
You're
you
right.
had
You
something to
not
say.
That's what I said. That's why I said you go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't. I realized I interrupted you and it was too late. The ADHD kicked in. I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
Okay, when I say adding in details, I'm not talking about false details. When someone recounts something, it's usually the person who has the experience in the negative remembers more. You might not remember what I was wearing that day, but I do. Might not remember a sentence that I said verbatim, but I do. So just because my story has more details than yours, the bullet points of the story is that there was a discrepancy between the use of the word coon on Wawa's panel. Yes or no?
To begin with, yes.
I blocked you from that live because there was arguing back and forth.
Yeah.
You started your own live to address how you felt about how Wawa's live went,
Not specifically to talk about the use of the coon. Coon. I don't feel like calling coons is anti-black.
which is the topic of Wawa's live.
Right.
Well, at the topic when you got there, correct?
Right.
Okay. So the part that we have different is that you don't believe that Christy Lou, who was co-signing the usage of the word.
Yeah, I think Christy Lou, who came up to console me, and then your recounting is that she was condoning use of the word coon.
Correct. So we might not agree on
Specifically,
that,
she
but
was condoning me calling y'all a coon or
and
somebody
that's what
calling
I
y'all a
said.
coon.
And that's exactly what I
Yeah,
said, co-signing you saying it. And
but
by
did I ever
saying,
call y'all coons?
um, listen to what I am saying. I never said that you called me and
Okay.
Wawa coons. I
Did
said
I
that
ever
when
even
she was
imply
talking
that y'all were
about,
coons?
when I say us, I'm talking about Black people. So maybe I should be clear about that. When I say this, Christy Lou, who was condoning us being called coon, I'm talking about Black people as a whole. So you just agreed that Christy Lou, who was co-signing you able to use the word.
No,
By God, ain't that what you just fucking said?
no. I was saying that she was
Stenographer,
consoling me
stenographer Sean, can you
after
please
we
tell me what was
cried.
just said?
I you just okay, so because I do think that y'all have these details, and this is what Solid is referring to. These details remembered different, because you said, and I will say what was just said, but I just want to make sure I got this straight. You said that Cindy went up on Solid's panel, and for whatever reason she went up on his panel, she started to say, that if Solid wants to say it, he can say it, and condoning the use of the word coons against other black people.
Correct. And so, and
Okay,
did Solid
so I
not
think
just agree that that's what she was doing?
I don't think he
No,
agreed that that's what she was
So
doing.
can you rephrase what you said
I
when
think
you said that that Christy
Christy.
was condoning your use of the word?
No, Christy was comforting me
I think you said
at
consoling.
the tail end. Console. At the tail end of the live, after we had done that whole thing, me, you, and King. After Keith had dropped and all of that, right?
Okay. And
And you're
October,
saying that toward the beginning of the live, she had condoned not just the use of the word coon, but and you just clarified not calling y'all directly coons, but calling black folks coons.
okay, so we're at an impasse at whether or not Christy Lou Who was co-signing your ability to call Black people coons if that's how you felt.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you recall that me and Wawa enter your live, and on what grounds did we enter your live to have a conversation with you?
To address what happened in the previous live.
Okay. So sure, we'll be at an impasse on whether or not Christy made those comments.
Right.
So then after
I don't even kick it with Christy no more.
yeah, I
Also,
know she told us and she also
you're not
apologized,
finished.
but that wasn't the question. I'm not asking you, are you friends with her today? So
And
during that live, you agreed that you made a quip at me starting drama on Dontrell's live.
yeah, disrupting the live. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you made a quip towards me disrupting Dontrell's live when the live in question was me calling out Trina for being a transphobe during a trans topic.
Right. Which I was completely wrong about.
Okay. So me turning up on you in this live, your original live, was because I was rebutting the fact that it was not drama and that it was absolutely necessary for me to call out Trina.
Right.
And at the time, you did not agree, and you were standing on the fact that it was drama and that I was causing problems.
No, I apologized. It was a sincere apology, but I just wanted to vent to Dantrell that something felt off, that your language felt off.
Okay. So the language that I was using towards you was because I was turning up on you because originally you were saying that it was drama and you were standing 10 toes down on the fact that it was drama. Not today, then.
It's
No,
because of the
that's
style of the language. It was very familiar. The style of the language was very absolute, right? It was like very vilifying, right? And I thought it was odd because we did not know each other like that. And you
We
agree that
absolutely
we
did.
didn't
We
know
spent
each other.
lots of time on Irish Feminist panel. We
Well,
were mutuals before that.
you just said we've never had a chance to talk about this.
We've never had a chance
You
to
just
talk
said we
about
weren't
this,
really
but
acquainted like that.
prior to that live solid, you were a
We
regular
did not
panelist
know
on
each other
Irish
like that. I
Feminist
knew
Live.
Wawa,
Okay. All right. That's fine.
and I knew Wawa from Irish,
Yes. And
but that's
yes.
what made me think it was random. It was weird because it was like
Okay.
she kept saying I always do this and I always, but I don't really know Queen like that. Queen can't possibly know that I'm always do or I always, right?
Okay.
And that's when I
Yeah,
went to
but I
Dontrell.
did. Okay. So you went to Dontrell, you had a private conversation with your friend. He felt like he wanted to take up for you. So he commented out loud in the live and addressed me directly.
He started the live specifically. I think it was the next day or the day
Okay.
after.
So he addressed me
He started the
directly.
live specifically because
Okay. And you did say that you did not intend for that to happen, but Dontrell was heated and he wanted to address me directly, and I came into the box.
I told him do not do that,
We got that part, but he did.
but he did.
Right. And
And
I
then
come into
when I
the
came in there, I
live.
kept cutting him off. Right, cutting
I'm
him
not
off
really
because
concerned
he
about
kept
what
saying
you
shit
did. The
that was
live
inaccurate.
happened. Right. But the live
Right,
did happen because Dontrell wanted to
right.
defend you.
But I kept correcting his
But I'm not
inaccuracies.
accusing you of starting the live. I'm asking you, did the live take place?
Yeah.
Okay, so I get into the live and Dontrell is addressing me about a conversation that you had with him in private.
Right.
So you finally come up into the live and you agree and admit to what you told him in private and you address me directly about how you felt.
Yeah.
Okay, so you told me that you felt that apology was forced out of you.
No.
So what did, if it was, okay, because that's what I remember that you said, that you felt as though you
I
were
just felt it
obligated
was
to
really
apologize in
weird.
order to stop the
No, I felt like the
conversation.
language that you were using when you would reference me was weird. This is what I'm talking about.
Hmm. Okay. So you addressed the conversation that we had and you said that it made you feel uncomfortable in any kind of way.
Yeah.
Okay. So after we have this conversation, I'm turned up, I'm upset because I don't feel as though you're being genuine. Do you remember that?
No.
Okay.
Uh,
So you don't
we hadn't
remember
spoken
me?
again after that for like almost a year.
No. In the live of Don Trails that he started on your behalf. Not on your behalf. I'm sorry. Well, yes, on your
Yeah,
behalf,
it
but you
was on
didn't
my
ask him
behalf.
to.
It was on
Right.
my behalf. Yeah.
So in that live, I was turned up and I did address you in a manner where I felt as though you were being performative. I'm asking you, do you remember me saying that and feeling that?
No, I don't remember that at all. I remember you being apologetic. Like, not apologetic, but more like, you know what? I didn't realize that blank, blank, blank. But if I did blank, 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 then my bad. I'm sorry about that. I
And
wasn't
this is
aware.
where we have the discrepancy because the apology that I gave was to disrupting the live about the woman's essay. I
Yeah.
apologized for it
There
because people
was
were
no
adamant
essay.
that I did
Y'all did
it.
not interrupt nobody's essay. Why are we
I'm
going to
not
do that?
saying you said it, but that's what I was apologizing for. I was apologizing because people were adamant that I had done this thing and that I had interrupted this woman, and no one was letting up on the fact that I didn't.
So,
And this is where Wawa comes into the conversation and says that she's going to post the receipts to prove my case.
okay.
And that's also a part that you say that you don't remember.
No, we
However,
left
it was
off on
part
a
of the
high note.
conversation that I had with Dontrell, and it was part of the conversation that when me and Dontrell had it, he recalled that. So that was the last conversation that you and I had. Do we agree on that?
Wait, now you're talking about the one a year later.
I haven't gotten there yet. But prior
Okay.
to that,